So, I have a lot of random Star Wars facts just floating around in my head, and I didn't know what to do with them. At first, I thought I would make a video, but there's not a lot you can talk about with these facts. And then I realized, hey, wait a minute, I can make one giant video where I just list all these random facts about Star Wars. So that's what's going to be happening on today's episode of Star Wars Nerds and Geeks. So I'm just going to straight record this, and if you're hearing this, that means I got a first try. So woohoo. Number 1. Luke Skywalker was originally called Luke Starkiller. Number 2. While his name was changed to Skywalker, the name Starkiller stuck and became the new name of Darth Vader's famous apprentice from Legends, Starkiller. Number 3. A New Hope was originally called Adventures of Luke Starkiller as taken from the Journey of Wills Saga 1, The Star Wars, but was changed to just Star Wars. Number 4. The Journal of the Wills was essentially the history book of the galaxy. Number 5. Ideas for Star Wars were borrowed from the classic Japanese movie, The Hidden Fortress. Number 6. Han Solo was originally going to be a creepy alien pirate, but George Lucas changed him to a human to be more relatable. Number 7. The numbering, so I don't know why I do that. Number 7. Ben Burtt, creator of many sounds for Star Wars, makes some unusual noises, including an elephant's call and a car driving on wet pavement to create the TIE Fighter engine. Number 8. Even though we hear the noises of the ships in Star Wars, this is just for viewing pleasure. In actuality, noise can't travel in space, so space battles would be very, very silent. Number 9. George Lucas originally wanted the famous Red Squadron from A New Hope that took on the Death Star to be Blue Squadron, but he had to change the squadron to red because they were using blue screens. Number 10. As a nod to this, one squadron from Rogue One was Blue Squadron. Number 11. Maybe people didn't like the prequels because of the CGI, and liked the originals because of the practical effects. However, one thing that I personally didn't know for a while was that the originals used things like blue screens and later CGI, and the prequels used practical effects. Number 12. Speaking of practical effects, the people making the models for Lucas used many random model kits, such as Formula One cars, German and Russian tanks, and Japanese models of ships and planes to create the ships of the Star Wars galaxy. Number 13. The rear engine ports of the original model Falcon were a mix of Ferrari suspension pieces and the backs of Panzer tanks. Number 14. The Millennium Falcon was originally going to be an elongated triangle ship. However, after $25,000 was put into that model, George Lucas envisioned a different ship for Han, calling it a flying hamburger. Number 15. However, the old model was not put to waste. The cockpit on the first model was chopped off and put on the new Falcon, and the rest of the ship was repurposed as Leia's Tantive 4 from A New Hope. Number 16. To make crazy acrobatic maneuvers as can be seen in The Empire Strikes Back, model makers had to construct a 2-foot-long Falcon so they could use the motion control camera with it. Number 17. In Episode 5, when you see the Falcon resting on the Star Destroyer, that model is smaller than the size of your palm. Number 18. Unlike the original Falcon, the Millennium Falcon in The Force Awakens had switches that actually flipped and toggled. Number 19. The creatures in the holochess game Dejaric, I think I'm saying that right, Dejaric. Anyways, the creatures in the holochess game Dejaric were sculpted by John Berg and Phil Tippett, Stop-motion animation was what they used to bring these creatures to life. Number 20. The return of these creatures in Force Awakens was made possible by Phil Tippett, one of the original creators, who recreated them. Number 21. That's enough of the Falcon, huh? Yoda was originally going to be called Minch Yoda, but that name was shortened to just Yoda. Number 22. According to Wikipedia, and they say it's canon, Yoda did not want to train Luke. Rather, he wished he had taken on Leia as an apprentice. Number 23. Yoda's background is a giant mystery. George Lucas has refused to reveal any information about Yoda's species, background, or homeworld. However, he has confirmed that Yoda is not from Dagobah. Cough, cough, possible future video teaser, cough. Number 24. Moving on. Beloved character Captain Rex served at the Battle of Endor, along with Phoenix leader herself, Hera Syndulla. Number 25. Clone troopers are identified by their numbers. For example, Captain Rex is CT-7567. However, this only allows for 9,999 clones, and there are tens of thousands in the GAR, or Grand Army of the Republic. Therefore, the naming system must be a little different. Maybe only clones in each battalion had a unique name, and there might be 2 CT-7567 clones, just in different battalions. Number 26. Though the clones were identified by numbers, most Jedi encouraged their clone soldiers to take up names. By doing this, they were promoting self-identity. Number 27. Some famous clones, including Captain Rex, Commander Cody, ARC Trooper 5s, ARC Trooper Echo, Heavy, Waxer, Boyle, and Commander Gree. Oh, those are some famous clones, yeah. Number 28. Though the Kaminoans were the best and most famous cloners, the Republic was known to occasionally use other planets to fuel their clone needs. Number 29. Clone troopers in the Clone Wars TV series had an Australian accent. Number 30. The point, in my opinion at least, of the Clone Wars TV show was to individualize the clone troopers and give them meaning, making Order 66 that much more heartbreaking, as you see the clones forced to turn against the Jedi, with whom they had once served side by side. Number 31. The first episode of the Clone Wars TV show is about Yoda giving the clones an identity. The last episode is about Palpatine taking that away. Number 32. No one knew what the Clone Wars was before the prequels came out. Therefore, Legends writers in the 80s and 90s alluded to the Clone Wars being a war between the Jedi, who protected the Republic, and the clones, who turned against their creators. Number 33. According to Legends, funding for the Clone Army was provided by Damask Holdings. Number 34. Damask Holdings was run by the Mune Hago Damask, aka Darth Plagueis. Number 35. According to some Legends books, Darth Maul may not have been a true Sith Lord, rather he was just an assassin. Number 36. Speaking of Darth Maul, he's a really loved villain for someone that barely has any screen time and only has 2 lines in the movies. That is, of course, excluding Rogue One. Or Solo, my bad. Number 37. Darth Maul only has those 2 lines because he wasn't played by an actor. Instead, he was played by the martial artist Ray Park. George Lucas was so impressed by Park's skills that he gave him the part of Darth Maul and told him to, quote, do the flippy thing. Okay, just kidding. George Lucas didn't tell him that, but Park did the flippy thing pretty well. Number 38. To come up with a design for Darth Maul, Lucas told his team to come up with a scary creature that haunts their nightmares. They settled on the demon-like appearance we know and love today. Number 39. According to Legends, The Sith originated from a species called the Sith. This species was very recognizable by their bright red skin. Though this species was wiped out, their legacy passes on through the Sith we know today. Number 40. Everyone always talks about how bad the Sith are, but they don't mention the fact that Jedi kidnap Force-sensitive children. Just saying. Number 41. Speaking of children, remember when Anakin murdered the younglings? It's been a meme for as long as I can remember, but the irony is that the youngling he killed was the only Jedi that respected Anakin enough to call him Master Skywalker. Number 42. To disguise Order 66, Palpatine created 150 secret orders for the clones. That way, if anyone confronted him about the order to kill all Jedi, he could just say it's there only as a precaution, just like the other 149 orders. Number 43. For example, Order 65 was actually an order to arrest the Chancellor. Number 44. Jar Jar Binks actually caused Order 66 in a way. In Episode 2, Jar Jar put a motion for Palpatine to get emergency powers. These emergency powers allowed Palpatine to gain full control of the Grand Army of the Republic, or GAR, to stay in office for as long as necessary, and the ability to execute the secret orders, though no one knew about that last one. Number 45. There are a lot of politics behind the war between the Republic and Separatists. And this is probably why many people dislike the prequels. Anyways, the politics are that many worlds were angry at the Republic for not protecting them and overtaxing them, so they left. Dooku then persuaded these worlds to join him in a war against the Republic after the Republic attacked Geonosis. Number 46. The Separatists are also called the Confederacy of Independent Systems, or CIS. Number 47. The Republic couldn't defend its worlds because of a law called the Ruusan Reformation. I'll talk more about it in a later video, but it was a law passed thousands of years before Episode 1 that said the Republic wouldn't ever militarize again and that worlds had to provide their own defenses. Ironically, this law that caused the war was broken to fight that war. Number 48. The war between the CIS and the Republic has many similarities with the American Civil War. For example, it was a civil war in the galaxy. The CIS was like the South and the Republic was like the North, and the high ground was a big part of both wars. Number 49. The reason Palpatine failed to draw Luke and Rey to the dark side was because he failed to tell them the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Okay, I'm joking, but not really. Number 50. Star Wars is split between canon, what is true in universe, and legends, what is false in universe. Canon can be split between Disney canon and pre-Disney canon. There isn't that much of a difference, but there is a difference. Number 51. The Empire was very xenophobic. They disliked all non-humans and only allowed humans to join their ranks. Number 52. The only exception to this, as far as I know at least, was Thrawn. That is what made Thrawn that much more impressive. The Empire put aside his bias against non-humans to allow Thrawn to become a Grand Admiral. That's just how good he was. Number 53. Death Star project was competing with the TIE Defender project. TIE Defenders were essentially better but more expensive TIE fighters. Tarkin backed the Death Star, while Thrawn backed the TIE Defender. In the end, the Death Star got the funding. That decision quite possibly doomed the Empire. Number 53. The Tarkin Doctrine was the doctrine that the Empire lived by. It essentially says, fear will keep the local systems in line. This doctrine states that the Empire would best control the galaxy by keeping it in fear. Number 55. The Tarkin Doctrine is the reason that the Empire spent so much money on Death Stars and Star Destroyers. They made big, giant ships to scare the galaxy into compliance. Number 56. This sheer amount of Star Destroyers and lack of starfighters was what gave the Rebels an advantage. The Rebels could easily sabotage a Star Destroyer and the Empire didn't have enough starfighters to combat the rebellion's pilots. Number 57. Wedge Antilles, or Rogue Leader, was a key pilot in the rebellion. He helped with many decisive battles, including the Battle of Yavin and the Battle of Endor. Number 58. Ace TIE Interceptor pilot Sunter Fel also served at the Battle of Endor, but on the Empire side. Number 59. In Legends, Han and Leia have 3 kids, twins named Jaina and Jason, and a younger kid named Anakin. Number 16. In canon, they only have 1 kid, Ben Solo. Number 61. Ironically, Luke actually has a kid in Legends who he names Ben. Number 62. While many fans prefer Legends over the sequel trilogy, there are some overlaps. I'll talk more about it in other videos, but there is a series of books called the Dark Empire Trilogy. In this, Palpatine returns to life in a cloned body and uses a secret fleet to wreak havoc on the New Republic. In my opinion, it's really cool how Disney takes some Legends books and make them canon, in a way at least. Number 63. Speaking of making Legends canon, both Revan and Bane have been made canon. Bane was shown during an episode of the Clone Wars as a Sith spirit almost, and Revan was briefly mentioned during The Rise of Skywalker. Though very briefly, now both of these incredible people from Legends have a place in canon. Number 63. Darth Bane created the Rule of 2, which states that there can only be 1 master and 1 apprentice within the Sith. Number 65. Revan is very similar to Anakin. Revan turned to the dark side and attacked the Republic, but he ended up turning back to the light side with the love of his wife and became one of the most powerful Jedi ever. Number 66. Execute Order 66. In Legends, there is a planet that an army of Sith Lords got stranded on for tens of thousands of years. During the reign of the New Republic, Luke discovers this planet of the lost Sith, who were descended from Sith that fought in the Great Hyperspace War. Number 67. The Great Hyperspace War is a very important war, but in essence, it was a war between the Jedi and the Sith. Number 68. Time in Star Wars is measured by the Battle of Yavin. You can use BBY, before Battle of Yavin, or ABY, after Battle of Yavin, to denote the year. For example, Order 66 happened in 19 BBY, or 19 years before the Battle of Yavin. Number 69. Luke and Leia were 19 years old in A New Hope. Their father, Anakin, was 19 during Attack of the Clones. Their mother, Padme, was 19 in between episodes 1 and 2. Number 70. Yes, that means that at 19, Anakin was fighting Count Dooku, Padme was a queen, Leia was a diplomat at day, rebel at night, and Luke was making vroom vroom noises with his toy plane. Number 71. Padme ended her reign of queen in 25 BBY. Number 72. Empire Strikes Back happens in 3 ABY. So Luke and Leia were 22 in that movie where the kiss happened. Number 73. That kiss wasn't wrong at the time, though. George Lucas never thought of making Luke and Leia siblings until writing Return of the Jedi. Number 74. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, which, disclaimer, I don't understand too well, people going at the speed of light will age slower than people going at normal speed. At least I think that's how it goes. But with this theory, Leia, who travels the galaxy all the time at light speed, would be younger than Luke, who doesn't. Number 75. Because a year and a day are based off of the planet that you're on, there are 2 measurements for time, local and galactic. The galactic year is a set amount of time that is true no matter where you are in the galaxy. A local year is based off of what planet you're on. Number 76. The Force is a very difficult thing to explain and understand, but, in essence, it is a sentient energy field that covers the entire galaxy. Those lucky enough to be born Force sensitive are able to wield the Force power to an extent. The more powerful the Force sensitive, the better and more they can wield the Force. Number 77. Not all Force sensitives are Jedi or Sith. Some are warlocks and wizards, others are just normal people. However, most are either a Jedi or a Sith. Number 78. Some species have the ability to resist the Force. Hutts and Toydarians have the natural ability to resist Force suggestion or mind tricks. Number 79. A species in Legends takes this even further. This is hard to say. The Yaslamari. I'm going to put that on screen. I do not know how to say that. The Yaslamari have the ability to create a sort of anti-Force bubble around them, which is an area where the Force just doesn't exist, and Force sensitives can't call on that. Keep that in mind if you ever have to fight a Force sensitive. Number 80. In Legends, the galaxy became under siege by the powerful Yuzhong Vong, an alien species from another galaxy. To face this threat, the Empire remnants and New Republic had to join forces. Number 81. Some have speculated that Palpatine foresaw the Yuzhong Vong invasion and quickly militarized his empire to defend against that threat. Number 82. Speaking of out-of-galaxy aliens, did you know that Kamino is actually not in the Star Wars galaxy? It's right outside of it, as a matter of fact. Number 83. A deleted scene from The Last Jedi shows Finn telling stormtroopers that Phasma betrayed the First Order. These stormtroopers, along with Finn, teamed up to take down Phasma. In the end, though, this scene was removed. Number 84. Here's something totally random. The guy from Rise of Skywalker who said, "Dark science, cloning, secrets only the Sith knew," also played the character Charlie from the TV show Lost. Number 85. Both the show Lost and episodes 7 and 9 were directed by J.J. Abrams, along with others, of course. Number 86. Just 2 years after making The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson created the murder mystery movie Knives Out. Number 87. George Lucas's film American Graffiti launched his career and gave him the ability to make Star Wars. He also met Harrison Ford on this, who ended up playing Han Solo later. Number 88. The strange movie Howard the Duck was created by George Lucas. However, he didn't want to tarnish his studio's reputation, so he did it under a different studio. I think that's the right terminology. Number 89. You probably should know this by now, but George Lucas created Star Wars. Number 90. In 2012, George Lucas made the controversial move to sell Star Wars to Disney for $4 billion. Number 91. Fans speculate that the movie Rise of Skywalker was a combination of J.J. Abrams' ideas for Episode 8 and Episode 9. Number 92. Many people think that The Return of the Jedi should have been the last movie in the saga. However, George Lucas had plans to make a total of 9 movies, until he ended up selling it to Disney after making 6. Disney finished the final 3 movies, and even added some side story movies of their own. Number 93. Though lots of people loved Rogue One, Solo, a Star Wars story, was an absolute bust in the box office. This promoted Disney to stop making Star Wars stories, at least for now, and focus instead on TV shows. Number 94. One TV show teased about is the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, set to release soon, hopefully. And if you haven't, check out the video I made about it. Promotion. Nice plug, huh? Number 95. Speaking of TV shows, the incredible 2008 Clone Wars TV show just had its last season. The last 3 episodes in this season happened at the exact same time as events in Revenge of the Sith, and you can see a lot of references to that movie in the show. Number 96. There were 2 Clone Wars TV shows created, the 2002 one and the 2008 one. There are many differences between them, including animation style, but one notable difference, though, is that the 2002 one, the Jedi were the main characters, and in the 2008 one, the clones were the main characters. Number 97. In an expanded version of Luke's training on Dagobah, Luke has to run away from a raging elephant, which were essentially elephants, and lead it back to its child. 98. The famous line, "Luke, I am your father," is actually, "No, I am your father." Number 99. That line, by the way, wasn't actually in the original script. George Lucas didn't want anyone to be spoiled by that surprise, so he kept it from the cast until the very last second. This also helped Luke's shock be more realistic, since Mark Hamill was more than likely really surprised. Number 100. Triple digits, guys, and we're almost done. The Battle of Endor with the Ewoks could be a reference to the Vietnam War. Number 101. In fact, a lot of things in Star Wars are based off of history and history movies. The trench run in Episode 4, for example, was only there because George Lucas saw it in a World War II movie and thought it looked cool. Number 102. In The Empire Strikes Back, there were many more scenes on Hoth than got shown in the movie. In one scene, a Wampa breaks into Echo Base. However, these scenes were taken out of the movie. Number 103. A New Hope is the shortest Star Wars movie, at 2 hours and 5 minutes long. Number 104. The Last Jedi is the longest Star Wars movie, at 2 hours and 32 minutes long. Number 105. This may sound like an opinion, but actually it's a fact that it is a general opinion. Confusing, right? Most people agree that The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. Number 106. Anyone can wield a lightsaber, but only a Force-sensitive person with training can truly use it to its full potential. Number 107. In Legends, the very first Jedi, who I will talk about in another video, wielded swords instead of lightsabers. Number 108. The very last fact. The very first lightsaber, again, Legends, was powered by a giant, bulky battery pack that a user would carry on their back. Not the best, since it definitely restricted the user's movement, but at least it worked. Well, that was a long video, but at the very least, I recorded all of those facts in one run. I'm very impressed with myself. Hold your applause, though. My throat is kind of sore from talking so long. You may have heard it at the end. I had to take a lot of breaks. But that is 108 totally random Star Wars facts. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, this is Star Wars Nerds and Geeks signing off. See you all next time.